Good morning, family and friends. John 6:12 through 13. Jesus uses our leftovers. I wonder how many of us, just like me, would have been in doubt and wondering how could Jesus possibly feed the multitude on 2 fish and 5 barley loaves, doing what Philip and Andrew were doing, trying to figure out how to make best of what we don't have. Well, they didn't have to wonder long, and neither do we. As soon as Jesus declared amen, he gave the disciples another assignment. He said, line the people up. And there they began to witness one of the most spectacular miracles they had never seen. You see, there were others who had raised the dead, and there was others who had healed the sick. But now Jesus is in the multiplication business. Jesus started reaching into that boy's lunch basket. And every time he came out, his hand came out, it was filled with food. He kept reaching in. Fish and bread kept coming out. You talk about a miracle. Do you not understand that when Jesus starts handing out blessings, there is no end to it? He has unlimited blessings for our lives. It was Jesus turning out fish sandwiches more than people could even serve them. This is how God works in our lives. He waits until we reaches the precipice of impossible. I told you yesterday it means that we've given up. We've turned it over to him. Do you realize that in our own personal defeat, we can find victory with Jesus? When we've resigned ourselves, that I'm going to stop looking at what I don't have, and I'm going to start focusing on what the Lord has already done for me. When we realize that if we can be faithful with a little, God will begin to bless us with much. When we begin to survive on what we consider to be leftovers, God will turn it around. God will fix it for us. Then and only then will the miracle occur. I often say that there is no miracle without human effort. And it is the most difficult effort for us to make to reach a point of resignation, to understand that God is God. To accept the fact that if I have Jesus, I don't need anybody or anything else. No man or woman can do what Jesus can do. He can fill empty stomachs. He can heal unhealable conditions. He can provide meals and money. He can serve lunch, but he serves up salvation. Everybody in that valley was full that day, while they wiped their mouths and smacked their lips. There was still food left over. You might have missed it right there. While they were content in what he was blessing them with right now, Jesus was already planning for tomorrow. Why were there leftovers? There was leftovers because he knew that tomorrow somebody was going to need another blessing. He knew that tomorrow somebody was going to need another healing. He knew that what they considered to be scraps was going to edify and lift somebody else up. So stop complaining about what you don't have and recognize that what you have, what you consider to be leftovers, God can turn it into a multitude of blessings in our lives. And not only that, check this out. Will that bless us? But what he blesses us with will be so much so until we can sow a blessing in somebody else's life. The leftovers in our lives become so much until it spills over into a buffet of blessings for everybody else that needs to be touched by the hand of God. God uses leftovers, and he shows us what is little in his hands is much. God is able. God can use our leftovers. So let's pick up the leftover scraps of our lives, leftover scraps of relationships, leftover scraps of failed purpose, and give it to him. Live in what you're in with praise on your lips and a shout in your mouth. And I declare and decree that God will multiply it in such a way until everybody who comes into contact with you will get a little piece of your 2 fish and your 5 barley loaves, and they'll just wonder, where's it coming from? Why isn't it run dry yet? Where's it coming from? Well, I stopped by to tell you it's coming because your blessing is Jesus reaching down into the bag of leftovers. God can use your leftovers. God bless.